This morning, we are getting our first look into just how much money the newest candidate in this race has raised. Beto O'Rourke announced just moments ago that he has brought in $6.1 million in that first 24 hours since announcing his race. That's the most of any candidate in that time period yet. But keep in mind, this Democratic field is not set, with one big name still deciding whether to jump in, making at a speech a slip-up that seemed like a big tell.
The 2020 attention this morning on an accidental almost announcement.
I have the most progressive record of anybody running for the if anybody who would run.
Joe Biden, in front of a very friendly crowd, quickly catching his slip of the tongue since he's not technically in the race yet.
I didn't mean.
The former vice president expected to decide within days whether he'll make it official, as Senator Kirsten Gillibrand finally did herself after weeks of an exploratory bid.
We need a leader who makes big, bold, brave choices.
Someone who isn't afraid of progress. That's why I'm running for president.
The senator hinting at a rally next week outside the Trump Hotel in New York, a signal of how aggressively she plans to confront the president. With 595 days to go, candidates are crisscrossing the campaign trail already, including Beto O'Rourke.
I get the chance to be part of something that the country badly needs, and that is coming together at this very divided moment.
Forced to respond to an attack by the GOP, who tweeted out this picture from a 1998 arrest for drunk driving.
People want us focused on the big picture, on our goals. They want us to be defined not by this pettiness or the personal attacks that we see in ones like the ad that you just described.
And after O'Rourke memorably told Vanity Fair he was born for this race, his competitors were pressed on their perspectives.
Growing up in the 70s in the middle of the country, I don't think many people thought a girl could be president. I wasn't born to run, but I am running.
Senator Amy Klobuchar is one of 5 women in a primary where many Democrats are eager for diversity. Now, some of the men in the race, like O'Rourke and Senator Cory Booker, are already suggesting if they get the nomination, they'll pick a female vice president.
I don't know if it's in the vice president's position or the president's position. But if I have my way, there will be a woman on the ticket.
All right, Hallie, you mentioned those eye-popping numbers that Beto O'Rourke just announced. How does it stack up against other candidates? Kind of put it in perspective.
Sure. And again, we're talking about those first 24 hours since these candidates announced. You have O'Rourke sitting at $6.1 million raised, but Bernie Sanders is close behind. He raised about $5.9 million, so nearly $6 million. And then behind both of them, Senator Kamala Harris at $1.5 million in that first day. But keep in mind, O'Rourke's campaign did not release certain specifics, like the average donation or the number of new donors, information that other campaigns have released. And sometimes, guys, those details can be really telling.